Hello everybody, it's Sage of Stone with a replay after like a year and a half or 2 years or so. Yeah, I used to play a lot of Bloodcraft back in the glory days of Starforged Legends. I came back because I saw we got Seductress, and that was just an awesome effect that I really wanted to play around with. But now I'm playing Floros combo, or aggro, or whatever you really want to call this kind of deck. And that's mostly because they banned Seductress and kind of Heartsick Demon, though I didn't really play that in my deck. But now Bloodcraft is kind of in a really bad spot in terms of its actual mechanics. So I'm using kind of this like fake cheater blood sort of deck that I really didn't like when it was coming out. But it's actually good fun now. There's like good metagame applications to playing something like this. And these games are actually against Elana Haven, which is kind of the big boogeyman deck since the bans of Seductress, and they did nerf Elana, but it really didn't do much. This current game is really a brick. I actually didn't do too well in any of these games in terms of like resolving the combo. It's just the core of this deck is kind of insane right now. Just there's so much crazy aggro, and a deck like Elana actually really doesn't have a lot of early game pressure to punish blood players for dealing so much damage to themselves. And he smites my Flaggro, and it really doesn't do anything. I'm so ahead because I played the amulet to get me a bat at the end of his turn, which is actually a really powerful thing. Just being able to get a follower that's guaranteed going to go through, like, even if I hadn't drawn the Laura, that would be, 3 damage at least from the bat that's evolved, which is just really good stuff. And Laura is such a strong addition to the craft, really. Maybe the best card we've seen in a long time, at least up until they printed Seductress, which was, of course, the GOAT. But, yeah, she just gets storm damage, so that's just 5. He scoops. I didn't actually have lethal on board. I guess he just figured that it would be lethal. There were a lot of things that I could play that could kill him. But anyway, on to game 2. And this is where things get worse, because as you saw, that first game we were on the play. This time we're on the draw. And the concurrent next game, we're on the draw as well, which really kind of goes to show the power of an aggressive deck like this to be able to beat a mid-range deck focused on healing and creature removal and doing everything perfectly and having no weaknesses other than, I guess, no early game pressure. Very well. But this draw was kind of insane. Starting off with blood-fed flower bed is pretty hard. And he plays this guy that gets him a repair mode, which as soon as I see that, it's like it's kind of heartbreaking seeing Elana for a deck that's aggressive like this. But no scoops. This card, Prison of Pain's actually pretty insane, and I got super lucky. Like, RNGesus was definitely in my favor with this match, because that top deck Gift of Bloodkin actually got me to the Flauros that I would not have had otherwise. And the weirdest thing, he had 4 play points and he passes. I'm not entirely sure what these players are doing by passing like that. He passed on turn 3, he passes on turn 4. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he was just like trying to save his plays for later in the game, but you know, you really can't sacrifice that much tempo against a deck as aggressive as this one. And he gets his fat ward that's just completely broken, but it's already a little bit too late. I did go ahead and taunt him. I don't remember why. I mean, it's just a fun little game, you know. But you know, I've been drinking, so maybe I was just feeling a little bit rowdy. On to the third game. We will see. I'm on the draw again. This time he's got the Ramina leader because he's got the gift of RNG. But in this game, I think the gift of RNG was on my side. I started with Restless Parish, and Ambling Wraith, which are actually both very good. Draw into the thick Medusa booty, best girl in all of Fate, which is just inherently a good sign. I draw into Flaggro on turn 1, which is fine. I still have 2 left in the deck. Not that it ever really mattered. And you know, we see the repair mode starting to come into hand, and it's like, ooh, wow, look at that, it's Elana. Who would have thought? So go ahead and kill that thing, whack him in the face. And I like something that my Grandmaster teacher taught me back when I was laddering the Masters and first really getting into playing good is like when you're playing an aggressive deck, attacking first and then playing cards is a good psychological method to, you know, get to your opponent. And as you see, I attacked second there, and that really is the reason why, because you kind of feel like with a card like that on his side of the field, you don't feel like you're in control of the match anymore. And just knowing how to control something like that, like interact with player psychology, is a really powerful tool in aggressive matches like this. But now we are completely on the aggression side again with my hard-casted Flaros and my Ambling Wraiths. And again, he's got his broken little ward. That card really does need to be nerfed, but what I think is actually worse in this matchup is Kel, which thankfully none of these drew. And I Mad Lad topped this Valnarek, which won me the game straight up. Like, that was the only card that I really could have drawn that would have gotten me from losing position to winning. Because that just did, what, I think 15 damage in one turn? Yeah, and there's not a single card he could have played that would have stopped him from dying here. Like, he could have theoretically played, like, Themis's Decree and blown everything up, gone to 1 from Blood-Fed Flowerbed, but literally any damage would have killed him there. Oh, I guess it would have been 2. But, you know, there's just so many cards that he could have died to, and I'm not going to slow roll him. I had the Claw. I'm not going to, like, try and break his ward and then, like, poke him and then shoot him for lethal like that. No, just shoot him for lethal. But yeah, those are the games. I really don't like the state of Shadowverse right now. It's kind of not really worth playing competitively, I don't think. I think that the metagame was a lot more fun before they banned Seductress, and I know that's kind of biased since I am a big Blood main, but, you know, having 3 decks in the Tier 1 versus having 2 is generally pretty preferable, even if one of those decks is a little bit better than the other 2. There was a whole metagame around it, and I feel like there could have been, like, metagame shifts and things like that, but we'll never know because, you know, the meta was ripped out from underneath us. But anyway, that's the video. Elana Haven can be beaten, so inherently I guess it's kind of fair. What I would say is, instead of nerfing something, like, maybe try undoing nerfs on other crafts before that, Like, yeah, sure, there's a lot of really powerful stuff in Elana, and Elana's kind of like a perfect craft. It really reminds me of like Starforged Legends Month 1 Prime Dragon Keeper. It's just better in every way, really, than that deck, I think. And that kind of strategy is powerful, but it's not really unbeatable. There were a lot of things, even back then, that you could do. And I think if they actually allow more crafts to have more options, it would be better than if they just kick Haven craft out of the meta. And I mean, yeah, there's other things too, like Roach. Like, you can do crazy things with other crafts, just give them options. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Y'all have a good one.